Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Taurus. If you're in North or South America, it happens late in the evening on the 7th of May. So if you're on the East Coast, it happens at 11:22 in the evening. If you're on the West Coast, it happens at 8:22 in the evening. I'm in the UK, so if you're in my time zone, this happens on the 8th of May at 4:22 in the morning. And if you're east of Europe, in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, it'll happen later on in the day. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to analyze the chart that you see next to me here to give you an idea of what this new moon is all about and how you can use it to your advantage. And once I've done that, I'm going to go through each sign of the zodiac to give you a specific message for your sign. Okay, so I mentioned when it's happening. First of all, a new moon is when the sun and the moon conjunct, so they sit together and they blend their energies together. The new moon is when the moon is pitch black and is pulling loads of energy in order to start its next 28-day cycle. So a new moon in general is a really good time to kind of plant seeds of intention, to say, I'm going to take a little bit of time for myself. If you think of the moon, it's pitch black, right? So if you look at it that way, the moon is taking a bit of a moment to recharge its batteries, to get its bearings and to say, okay, now that I'm about to start this new cycle, so there's an energy of new beginnings associated with this. I'm going to figure out what I want to use my energy on, what I'm going to do in this next cycle, and what's important to me. So a new moon is always a wonderful time to kind of set goals, to examine how far you've come and where you would like to go. And if you have a new moon in your natal chart, then that energy of the pioneer, the person who innovates, the person who does things independently and then makes an impression on their environment or on other people or the world. That's what we're tapping into here now during this new moon in Taurus. And I feel that a new moon in Taurus is even more pioneering in the sense that Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So you've got both feet firmly planted on the ground. You're getting all of this Taurus energy, and it enables you to make practical plans for the future. The other great thing about a new moon is the moon in your chart, it represents your feelings, which you naturally have access to in terms of the emotions. And the sun represents the identity, the conscious identity that you're striving towards. So both of them are conjunct. So there's total communication between your heart and your head. And it's really easy to kind of get a clear sense of this is where I'm at and this is where I want to go. So the moon in itself is at 18 degrees in Taurus, which is a bit of a contradiction, or I'll explain what I mean. So 1 and 8 is 9, and 9 in numerology is spirituality and completion. So it's also talking about the end of one cycle, and what always then happens is that there's a beginning of a new cycle, and it goes round and round and round. So the fact that we have the moon in this very kind of accomplished angle in Taurus says, okay, let's take stock of where we've come from and let's see what we can build and structure in future so that life is even more enjoyable and that it feels richer and it feels more stable. So the moon in Taurus allows you to really have an emotional connection with your environment, the physical world. So being out in nature is likely to inspire you, but also it gives you a wonderful sense of connection to practical action steps that need to be taken in order for you to get to where you want to be, or for you to take control of what you want. That's really an interesting thing about Taurus, because Taurus is a fixed earth sign and it opposes Scorpio. And where Scorpio is very good at kind of tuning in emotionally and intuitively, and they're very good at Scorpios, that is, they're very good at getting to the truth of the matter, to the hidden secrets around any situation, and then they're able to emotionally take control of that and to say, these are the facts, this is what I've discovered, and therefore that's what I'm going to do about it. Taurus is also about control, but it's about control in an earthy sense. So you'll notice that a lot of Taurus people you may know in your life are very good at accumulating savings and creating a lifestyle that seems to be very abundant and secure. So often there are things like, I am going to put money in a savings account every month. I'm planning for the future. My pension is important. Taurus takes the physical financial, practical world really seriously, and they're often very good at adapting things so that they end up in a position that is really prosperous and abundant. So with this new moon in Taurus, you're able to say, okay, this is the cycle I have completed. And I even mentioned that in the weekly horoscope, that this period, oh, and by the way, a new moon you're not just gonna feel this on the 7th or 8th of May. It's something that gradually happens. So around the 6th, 7th, 8th, and even 9th of May, you'll start to experience this. It's life before this week, as in my experience and how far I've come, and then life after this week. And I don't think that's an overstatement, because with this new moon in Taurus, it's really saying, let's make a fresh start. It doesn't matter what's come before. You may have felt out of control in the past, or you may not be aware of what you want to look at in future. But this new moon is prompting you to kind of take a moment out and to say, before I continue taking action steps, I want to check in with myself whether these are things I actually still want to be doing. So it's all about looking at what's happened, and in an ideal world, what you would like to create. Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, rules Taurus. So when Venus is in Taurus, she's very good at working creatively, at taking a situation and adapting it to make it even more beautiful. I often think of Venus in Taurus as the Queen of Pentacles in the tarot, because any situation that she goes into, or the moon in Taurus and Venus in Taurus, they go into, it's like, I see what the situation is and this is how I can improve it. So again, it's that natural connection to the physical world, and also this sense that I don't need to just be at the receiving end of what's going on. If I use my energy and my power to control the environment, then I can adapt it to suit my needs. So this is a new moon where you're really going to feel a sense of confidence that the world is your oyster, so to speak, that it's down to you in what your life and your environment looks like. So anyone who's kind of considered moving or changing jobs or expressing yourself creatively, and there's been some uncertainty around that, this new moon is going to get rid of that for you, and it's going to say, let's look at this in a very structured way, one thing after the other. So this is what you've done so far, this is what your work is like, this is how you feel in your physical body even, and here you go, we're going to present you with a mental image or a vision of what life could be like, which is great in itself, right? But it doesn't just stop there. It then gives you the ability to say, wow, I immediately know what action steps are required for me to change the environment and to build these structures that I want. So what's sitting at 18 degrees in Taurus as well is obviously the sun. The sun is the identity that you would like to embody and the place you'd like to be at in life. So first of all, happy birthday, Taurus. This is a really important new moon for you. You guys particularly are going to feel so in control of your circumstances, and you'll be raring to go. But the sun is also at 18 degrees in Taurus, and it says, I have grown as an individual, as a person. I don't just want to stay put. I want to now build something new. You know, the thing that Taurus is often very famous for is that it doesn't like change, and that it can be somewhat stubborn, Taurus the bull, and it's going to dig its heels in when it doesn't like what's going on around it. And that can be true, but in this case, especially with the 18 degrees, which is 9, it's like, if I don't like something, I don't have to accept it. I can use my, strength and my power to adapt anything so that I actually enjoy it. So, if you're starting a new business, or you're a writer and you want to start a new project or a new painting, or you want to do up your garden, or you want to change your diet, or you want to start exercising, or you want to do embroidery, or anything that has some sort of physical aspect to it, it's a great time to start these new ventures. And also, if you're registering a company or you're starting a new business, give it this birthday, because your business is then going to have this energy for as long as it's around. And this is really the most amazing kind of opportunity to begin something that in essence is going to be rock solid. you can't really expect this to contain much doubt or to be a little wishy-washy or uncertain or back and forth. No, think of Taurus as the bull. It stands there. This is who I am. I'm strong. I'm not questioning my own experience, and this is what works for me and what doesn't. So Taurus is very black and white like that, and it's good in the sense that it simplifies anything that you may have considered, and you'll know one way or another whether this is something that works for you or it doesn't. So the moon then, other than the conjunction with the sun, it forms certain relationships. So first of all, 8 degrees away from the moon is Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity and connection in this harmonious, intimate way. That's at 10 degrees in Taurus. So Venus is very happy being in the sign that it rules, and it's also very happy to be next to a new moon, which is pulling even more of the same energy in. So Venus at 10 degrees in Taurus is going to urge you and encourage you to make a fresh start. One is the vibration of the pioneer. It's the person who says, I don't need permission. If I want to do it, that's more than enough, thank you. So Venus in Taurus is really going to encourage you to express yourself creatively, to restructure things in a way that suits you. So if you're going shopping, for instance, the way this would translate is you always wear a certain type of, I don't know, suit or dress or whatever, and you see something and you immediately know this is going to work for me. It's that I'm not questioning anything, and I know exactly what works for my sense of what is beautiful and harmonious, and that nurtures me on a physical level, and I really am not going to waver in any way. So again, it's great for starting new businesses. When Venus is in retrograde, that's when I often mention watch out for new relationships you get into, because the person may appear one way, and then when Venus goes direct again, often it's like, what was I thinking there? This is not right for me at all. So Venus is direct, so you can trust your own judgment, you can trust what you love. And also starting new businesses, this is really something that then is going to be a consistent joy in your life that you're not going to get tired of. You know, a lot of people, myself included, you become fascinated by something and it's like all you can do, and then 3 weeks later it's like gone. And it's like, what was I even interested in that for? Now I'm on to the next thing. So look at this as something that you can trust, that you're not going to get bored of if that's a theme for you. Then also on the other side of the new moon, we have Uranus at 22 degrees in Taurus. So that's 4 degrees away from the moon, which in itself is kind of telling, because 4 in numerology is structure and security and solidity, right? And Uranus is the planet of anything can happen. Things are guaranteed to eventually come apart, and things are going to be chaotic and things are unpredictable. And it's in this wonderful placement in Taurus, but not only that, it's at 22 degrees, which is the master number of the builder. And the way I interpret that, and please let me know what you think in the comments, is I don't need to look at the world and be influenced by it as much as I usually would be. The reason I'm saying that is because Earth, so Taurus is an earth sign, and water signs, they're feminine elements, and they're often very good at being influenced by their environment. The earthy stuff, the earthy signs, they can read the environment and gain meaning from it. And water is very good at reading the emotional side of things and looking at what's going on within, and it's able to respond to those influences, right? But with Uranus at 22 degrees in Taurus, it says these restrictions, particularly that you have in your physical life, in the physical world, don't take those so seriously, because they're not permanent anyway. And what is permanent is what you love, what inspires you creatively, or what you're focused on building. So please look beyond the surface of things, get to the truth of what you feel within and build it. It's going to be much more solid than anything that exists around you, and it's incredibly encouraging in the sense that, again, if I want to build a tower, I can. And if everyone else lives in a semi-detached house, but I want to live in a yurt, then that's something I can build for myself. So the amazing thing is, I don't have to exist within the norm. I can operate outside of the mainstream. I can think for myself, I can be chaotic, I can be unusual, and there's actual joy in that. So what I love about this is, if you have any unique, unconventional ideas, please action those. Because in my experience, or what my opinion really, what I find is that people who operate independently often create the most unique circumstances and the most unique paintings or the most unique pottery designs or whatever it may be. So this is really about identifying your talent and what makes you unique and seeing what you've got that no one else does. And I'm a big believer in that. I think we all have a talent, a joy, a sense of expertise in a particular area that we can use to make the world a better place. So you may think I'm being a little idealistic about that, but that's what I believe. And if you let yourself be governed by your school, your university, your employer, society, then everything becomes much more drab. So I'm a big champion of individuality and not fitting in. It may be a bit of a more difficult journey, but certainly for the people who then get to see what you've created, it makes the world so much more interesting. And then on top of Uranus, we have Jupiter, the planet of good fortune and growth and expansion and success and good luck. That is at 25 degrees in Taurus. So it still conjuncts the moon. I use 10-degree orbs. So it's 7 degrees away from the moon, and 7 in itself in numerology is the mind and creativity. So it echoes the sentiment of Venus in Taurus. So Jupiter being the lucky planet at 25 degrees, which is 7, in Taurus, it means that your creativity, in a literal sense, writing, drawing, playing music, is heightened and expanded and it grows. But also in an abstract sense, as in I'm able to look at my life and I'm able to use my imagination and see how it could be different or what new structures I could build. So again, you're able to look beyond what is and you're able to look into the what could be, which to me is so motivating because it really says, listen, you as an individual have all the power in the world, please use it. It would be a missed opportunity if you just accepted what is around you and you responded to effects all the time, and instead it's saying you are the cause, you're going to create the effects. So it really says you're the boss, let's listen to what you've got to say and what you're going to produce. We're excited to see what that will be. Okay, so then the moon forms some other relationships. It trines. So a trine is when two planets are 120 degrees away from each other, and it trines Black Moon Lilith at 24 degrees in Virgo. And what that is this ability to make sense of things beyond the surface of the creativity. So again, what I mean by that is you have all of this ability and desire to build and to express yourself creatively, but there's a discernment associated with this, which means that you're able to see the opportunities. And this is really what I feel makes the physical world translucent or even transparent instead of its usual opaque. And you're able to say, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. And I'm really, I'm sussing this out here for myself. And I see there's a little niche, there's a little opening that I could slip into. And that's what I can use to create all of these things that I want in life. So you'll see the way forward in a practical way very, very easily. And I'm thinking of a particular word. The word is shrewd. There we go. You're shrewd about all of this. So you can see beyond the walls and you can see the little cracks where you can slip through. Then the new moon also trines the midheaven, which is in Capricorn. So if I'm looking at your natal chart, right, your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. Then I can draw up a similar chart to this, the position where the planets were when you were born. And the midheaven, it indicates what you're best at when it comes to work, because the chart is like a clock. The rising sign or the ascendant is sunrise, the midheaven is noon, the descendant is sunset, and the IC is the middle of the night, right? So the thinking symbolically behind the midheaven is that at noon most of us are up and about, we're doing things that we're able to do, working possibly. So with this midheaven, first of all, it's 17 degrees, 1 and 7 is 8, and 8 in numerology is power. So physical power, I can do the heavy lifting, I can adapt things, I'm not timid about this. And Capricorn is another earth sign, but it's the sign of the goat. There's an acronym. GOAT stands for the, I don't know, a really exceptional person, right? Capricorn can be depicted as a goat, but with a fish tail. And it again represents that opposition between Capricorn and Cancer, so earth and water. And Capricorn is able to work both in a physical sense, to create structures, to look at the blueprints and then to implement the idea. But it's also able to work on an emotional level, and it's able to dive into the emotions, to work through them, and to say, this is potentially a burden that I carry around with me. Don't want that, let's work to get rid of it. Or it can also really dive into the emotional side of things and say, this is my happy place, this is the environment that I like, and it can use the water, those positive feelings, as fuel to get things done in a practical sense. That's why Capricorns are often so straightforward. I know a couple of Capricorns, and they are people who often see things in very black and white terms. They don't worry themselves with could-be's and maybes. They're like, is this actionable? Can I do it? Then I'll do it. And if it isn't, I won't. Or I'll find a way around. So again, the point I'm trying to make is that the simplicity and the diligent, straightforward nature of Capricorn then influences this new moon even more. And it results in this feeling of, I can do anything I like. There's nothing that is impossible. And the world is what I make it. Got some other connections via this new moon. It sextiles, let me look carefully. It sextiles Mars at 5 degrees in Aries, and also, to a certain degree, I would still count it, yep, Neptune at 29 degrees in Pisces. So Mars is a personal planet. Wherever that is in your natal chart is really important because it represents your ambition, where you want to move towards, and what you're not going to compromise on. And it's in the sign that it rules, Aries, sign of the ram. Makes sense, right? This is my ambition. I'm going to ram through any obstacles to get to where I want to go. And 5 in numerology is freedom. So Mars at 5 degrees in Aries here says, I am free to make as much progress as I like, and nothing is ever going to stop me. So all of these things are sort of repetitive in a way, and they're all saying, make it happen for yourself, go for it. If you want it, that's good enough. Then there's also a connection with Neptune at 29 degrees in Pisces. Neptune is also very happily placed in the sense that Neptune is in the sign that it rules, Pisces, and Neptune is the dream for the self and the world. It's creative, it's connective, it uses its imagination to see beyond what is and into what could be, so it's very similar. And 29, 2 and 9 is 11. 11 is the master number of service. So the combination of Mars, I get what I want, and Neptune at 29 degrees in Pisces, I'm going to realize my dream, and that's the end of the story. If I have a dream for the future, if I have some sort of inner desire, then that is more than enough to put me in a place of action so that I can realize that dream. So with this new moon in Taurus, whether you want to have a romantic relationship, or whether you want to have a house on a hill, or whether you want a job as a newscaster on television, or whether you want the perfect body, or whether you want to make changes in your physical appearance. All of these planets and the way they combine says, if you want to have this, and if it's a dream of yours, then why don't you go get it? It's really supportive in the sense of life isn't that complicated, according to this. And if you have a desire, then please make it happen for yourself. It'll serve you, it'll inspire you, it'll work for you. Let's see what else is going on. The moon also forms a connection, or it's more the sun, okay, but it also connects to Saturn at 17 degrees in Pisces, and Saturn is structure and security. 1 at 7 is 8, power, and Pisces is the spiritual, right? So on a spiritual level, you feel really supported, you feel that you're hearing your inner voice clearly and that you can trust it, so please do. That then sextiles again to the midheaven in Capricorn, also at 17 degrees, and it's like, if you make the effort, if you work, then you can get whatever it is you want. So You could argue, well, Greg, you know, that may all be very good and well, but if I want to be an astronaut, I don't think I can. It may be, you know, that they only take 20-year-olds who are in great shape, and I am, what, 56 or something. So, of course, we're being realistic in terms of certain things are possible, certain things aren't possible. But, for instance, if that's the dream, then you may find a workaround where you're not actually the astronaut going into space, but you may be able to fulfill that desire in another way by working as an astronomer or something like that. So please don't let any kind of obstacles in the physical world stop you from pursuing what it is you like. And this is a period where it's particularly saying throwing in the towel is not the best thing to do. Let's see if there's anything else. Do you see, if you look at the center of the wheel, you've got that trine between the new moon in Taurus and the midheaven in Capricorn, which I mentioned, and then the two sextiles on top of it. And this doesn't appear in any astrology books because I made up this term. I call that a triangle of harmony, where all these energies blend together in a way that support each other. So the new moon in Taurus, the energy, the motivation to build. Then with Saturn in Pisces, the sense of I'm supported divinely, my imagination supports me. And then coming together with the midheaven in Capricorn, the work is doable. So I think you get my point. Anything is possible here, and you're willing to do the work and embrace that and see where you end up with, or what you end up with. You'll be very pleased. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. So I mentioned all of all of those planets sitting together near the new moon in Taurus. That's called a stellium, S-T-E-L-L-I-U-M. That's when 3 or more planets sit together. So that's a powerhouse of Taurus, giving you that kind of builder, I guess we can do it. I've mentioned Mars and Neptune and Saturn. We also have Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node there in Aries. And they don't directly connect to the new moon, but the blended energy of those is pursuing what you want isn't just a way to feel good. It's also a way to heal the past, to make up for disappointments in the past. And it's a prompt to fulfill your life purpose, which broadens the scope even more. And it says, if you have a dream, if you have a desire, it's not just because you want all the time. It's because you're on the right track, and this has something to do with your life purpose, and it would really benefit you to pursue it, because the universe is such as giving us all of this power so that we can realize our own missions, our own sense of what we want to do here in our lives and with our lives. Pluto is at 2 degrees in Aquarius. So Pluto in Aquarius is new ideas. It's the rebirth of ideas. And it's thinking outside of the box. It's the intellect. It's innovation and saying, I am the one who's going to create something that doesn't exist yet. So again, it puts the ball in your court and gives you all the power. And the strongest element of the day is Earth, obviously, because we have all this Taurus and Capricorn energy. And the strongest mode is fixed. So fixed is about, it's not about the leader, it's not about doing things solo and being the boss, it's about building real structures. So cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Mutable is about going with the flow, fixed is I build, and cardinal, I am the leader, right? You could also look at that as start, maintain, and stop. Cardinal being start, fixed being maintain, and mutable, stop, I suppose. But really, this is about, okay, I've got certain structures. Where the new structure's coming from? They're coming from me, so let's get to work. So that's what I get for you in terms of this new moon. There aren't any other major aspect patterns that I can see at the center of the wheel. Nope, except that triangle of harmony that I mentioned. So let's go through each sign of the zodiac then and see how this will affect you. And before I do that, I think the people who are going to feel this most powerfully, one of the earth signs, so Tauruses particularly, this is your new moon, Virgos and Capricorns. I also feel it's going to really, really inspire Scorpio, which is on the other side of Taurus, and it likes to take control. So having all this earthy connection is going to really work for the Scorpios out there. And to a certain degree, I also feel that it's going to support Aquarius in a lot of ways because it gives it the grounding that it doesn't usually have. So let's see, I'm going to start with Aries, right? And let me just make this bigger so I can actually read it. Aries. So this new moon sees Mars, Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node in your sign of Aries. For you, this is a particularly good time, you specifically Aries, even more so than what I've just said, to implement your desires when it comes to practical circumstances. Creating an additional source of income, starting your own business, or finally coming to a conclusion around some sort of practical change, like a move or changing your job. You'll find it very easy to tap into that certainty about what it is you want to come next in your life. Taurus. This is obviously your new moon. It's in your sign, so you're really going to be feeling yourself here during this period. You feel spiritually supported. And what that means is by simply being yourself and pursuing the things that you authentically want, you're able to manifest the ideal circumstances, or you're able to start that process of manifestation without too much effort. You're really going to literally feel in your element here. It's like the universe is asking you to please get clear on what it is you want so that I can deliver these things to you. So use positive affirmations to manifest your ideal life, Taurus. Money is attracted to me. It comes easily and effortlessly. My house on the hill is just waiting for me to enter the front door. My body is in perfect health. If the appearance is important, I get better looking every day. You may think this is magical thinking, and on some level it is, but for you, Taurus, all of these connections, if you put this positive mindset in and you focus on the positives, you will not just grow those positive ideas and energies, you will actually start to manifest them. Gemini. For you, things are very likely to click into place here, and you'll understand exactly what practical step comes next in order to realize one or more of your dreams for the future. So you're similar to Aquarius in a sense, also an air sign. This groundedness is going to give you the can-do kind of nature, the actual practical action steps you need to take to make this happen for yourself. So you'll also benefit from that. And now that I've said Aquarius and Gemini, then that would also extend itself to Libra, another air sign. Cancer. It's really likely that you're going to be in a very good place during this new moon emotionally. So look at the things in your life that you love the most and that you're most grateful for, and give yourself the time and the opportunity to celebrate the fact that life is good right now. Not only is that enjoyable, but again, your focus on those things is going to expand them and grow them, so that this can be a real season of satisfaction and contentment and manifestation. So enjoy yourself here, Cancer. Leo. Your work during this new moon period is really likely to reward you with an exceptional outcome. So either the work that you've been doing turns out to be better than expected, or you find that your colleagues or your boss sing your praises, or you may even get a raise or a bonus. Work and career are so good for you, Leo, that it encourages you to take on even more and to expand in terms of what you do. So congrats to you in that area. Virgo, you're going to feel like your confidence has returned. If you've been through difficult circumstances lately, you feel so solid and grounded now, it's almost like I've returned to myself. I feel like myself again. You're decisive, you're confident, and when it comes to expressing your own needs, that's going to feel easier than usual. A lot of time Virgo doesn't like to ask for help. It finds that embarrassing. At the same time, you can glimpse the structures that you want to create in future. So pay attention to your inner kind of, the images you get in your mind's eye, the things that you're dreaming about, literally at night, that you're sleeping, when you're sleeping, and the things that occur to you. Take note of those mental images. They will be a representative of, this is one of your goals in life, one of your truest, most genuine desires that you have for your future, take note of what occurs to you and then make a plan to action them. So for instance, I'm a Virgo, right? Sun sign Virgo. And yesterday I had the idea, see the train cheers me on. I had the idea that my dream in future one day would be to have a little place with a little garden and to plant flowers that attract bees. And to have a garden just filled with plants that are for the bees. And then I'd wake up in the morning and I'd hear bzzz, and I would love that. And I didn't realize that until yesterday. And bees have always been my spirit animal, but for me to actually action that, I've now put on my to-do list for the future, because I think for me that would be bliss. So what's your bliss? Ask yourself that, Virgo. Libra. Expect a warm welcome from friends, family and colleagues during this time. But that warm welcome extends even more. And if you're trying to get an organization or a company to believe in your proposal or to finance your idea, you'll find that the welcome extends even into these formal types of relationship, and that the door opens and a way forward is presented to you. Scorpio, so I've mentioned this quite a lot now, but your sign opposes Taurus, so you're really going to benefit from this ability to control the physical world. Here you're going to be good at taking charge when it comes to the emotional and the relationship side of life, even more so than usual. So for you, Scorpio, this new moon is the best of both worlds, because your feelings in any situation, whether it's relationships or work or health, but with a particular focus on relationships, your niche, right? All of those feelings, where you're at in any of those situations, will become crystal clear to you, and you can take the necessary practical action steps to transform your unmanifest desires into actual reality. So first of all, you'll be crystal clear on where you're at and how you feel. If you felt a little bit fuzzy or lost lately, it comes into sharp focus. And not only then, you have the action steps before you that you can take to make this real. So, you know, like when you have a river and then you have those stepping stones that help you get across, that's what this presents itself as for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius. The great thing about this new moon for you is that it becomes very clear what it is you want and how you want to get there. So you may find that your progress is slower than usual. For you, the Taurus energy may make you feel like I'm trudging through the mud here in a little way, because you usually move much quicker. So initially that may be frustrating, but if you keep at it, you'll be able to create a really new structure in your life, whether that's business, relationship, an exercise routine, a particular way of eating, that's going to remain in place consistently for the foreseeable future. So if you're a Sagittarius who flits from one thing to the next, and you can't, or you find it difficult to be consistent in your affections for a particular thing or person, whatever occurs to you here during this new moon in Taurus, you can bank on the fact that this is going to remain an interest. So that can be a real issue, you know. So if you're tired of the search and constantly switching from one thing to the next, really pay attention to what appears here during this new moon, and you can kind of come home and relax a little bit. Capricorn, you know, or you will know, who and what you love without a shadow of a doubt, and what you need to do in order to hang on to this person or this area of love and interest. It's not that you have to secure things or nail them down because you're likely to lose them, no. But any kind of uncertainty disappears and you become very confident about what you'd like to do in order to keep this loving thing or person in your life. So a lot of times when people are dating or something, they don't really read the signs or something, and they don't realize that this person is kind of teetering, and I maybe need to be open about how I really feel in order for the connection to continue, right? Anything like that, you'll really have a crystal clear sense on. Aquarius. You may be very outspoken because you feel so strongly about what's right at the moment and what is not right. So before you speak up, loudly, consider who you're sharing this information with, because you may be surprised that you get challenged by the people listening to what you're saying. And it's not that an argument would ensue, but what could happen is that you then hear the response, the retort, the challenge, and you may lose respect for that person because you'll be like, wow, they really don't get anything, do they? And you may kind of say, if they don't even understand what I'm talking about right now, then I'll jump to the next conclusion and say, maybe this relationship isn't right for me because these people don't share my vision, have no imagination. You could become somewhat judgmental in the sense of, this isn't a good fit right now, so I'm going to cut it off. Try and avoid anything like that. Pisces, you're able to take decisive action around getting your business and creative project off the ground. Off the ground. Even though it's Taurus, right? So you have a solid structure which you can jump from. So you're able to articulate your vision so well that other people are very happy to jump on board with what you're doing and to support your ideas. If you require the support of others, make the most of the clarity and practicality that you've got during this new moon in Taurus, and give a detailed and comprehensible account of what you have in mind and what's required and what everyone's role is. So if you're a Pisces who's the boss, you have your own business, and you're explaining the requirements of the new project to everyone else, you'll have a really easy time with that during this new moon in Taurus. Okay, so that's what I get for you guys. I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with during this new moon in Taurus. If you'd like me to draw up your natal charts and to analyze that, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Just click on the button that says book your reading, or click on the shop tab to order your reading. And then I can draw up your chart. I just need your place of, I don't know if I said this, but I just need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then that's not a problem. I can order, I can do a process called chart rectification, where you send me 10 or more significant life events, and I can actually work out your time of birth, which is really useful because the chart changes every 4 minutes. But even if you're not able to do that, I can use sunrise if the time is completely unknown, because I still have the placements of the planets, except I won't have the ascendant, you see, without the time. Please check out some of my other videos. Check out the weekly horoscope. I also do a daily tarot reading on this channel, so please consider becoming a member of the channel if you'd like to watch that. Oh, and also I did a live yesterday, and finally, I usually do them spontaneously, right? But I've scheduled them in now for Wednesdays at 5 p.m. my time, and I may be, 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, or a little bit, depending on my schedule. Around that time, around 5 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon, my time, UK time. So if you're in North America on the East Coast, that would be noon right now. If you're on the West Coast, it would be 9 in the morning. And then if you're Europe, Africa, obviously either the same time, UK, Europe, it would be 6 p.m. your time. If you're Australia, New Zealand, it's like at night. I think it's around 2 in the morning. So I picked that time because it's accessible for most people. I'll make sure that I figure something out for my lovely Australian and New Zealand subscribers, so please don't feel left out. I'll get that sorted. It's just this covered the most amount of locations, right? Anything else I want to tell you? I signed up for a thing called Linktree or something. It's like a website where all my social media presences, I suppose, are listed in one neat place. So you can just click on it. So I had issues in the past with Instagram, so I came off it, but I really like Instagram, so I've gone back on it as realgregoryscott.com. So if you are on Instagram and you want to connect with me, check that out. Oh, and then the other thing, someone asked me, hey Greg, I can't really use YouTube or PayPal or something. Are you available on any other platforms? So I've put myself on Cameo. Cameo is a place, is like an app for like real celebrities, right? So don't think that I have any illusion that I'm like famous or a celebrity or anything. But I went on there because it's a nice platform where you can ask a request, and then I can make you a video on that app and send it straight to you. And I've done that as an extension to the live tarot readings, which I'm going to keep doing on this YouTube channel every week. But on there, what I'll do is I won't just draw one tarot card to give you a quick idea and a quick answer to your question. I'll draw 3 or 4 or 5 tarot cards on there to give you a little bit more in-depth kind of response via the tarot as to what you're asking. And also, if you just want to hear from me, or if you want like Mother's Day wishes or happy birthday, or you want my advice, or you just want me to say hi or anything else, then it's just another option. And I'm now available on that platform, which you can also find listed on that Linktree thing, which the link I will put in the descriptions of all my videos. So it will be in the description of this video, the daily tarot readings, the weekly horoscopes, and anything else I do. So I hope that, wow, 46 minutes. I'm sorry if this is too long, but I hope this has given you an idea of the new moon in Taurus anyway. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you do want to talk to me, please get in touch via any one of those things. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps me as well. And share it online if you like it, and tell your friends, and that would really be supporting me. So thank you. Have a wonderful time, guys, and I will speak to you soon. All the best.